Yo, what's up guys, my name's Hacky and welcome to something that's not being talked about as much as other things in this new DLC. One of the new features in the Drug Wars DLC is ray tracing available on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S, and I find it to be a huge upgrade, almost I'd say a game changer. It makes the game that much more realistic, especially during nighttime and when it's raining, and you'll see what I mean later on in the gameplay. I'll also show you a comparison between the regular GTA 5 graphics mode without ray tracing and then switch it on and off so you guys can see the big difference it has. And for those that don't know what ray tracing is, since it's more of like a fancy graphics word I guess you can say, the best way to describe it is through reflections. It makes the game more reflective overall, which makes it look a lot more realistic, and that's mainly seen with two things in GTA Online. One is with chrome and reflective paint jobs on cars, I guess mirrors as well but not as much, and then the second thing is the reflection of things through puddles in rainy days, or in particular rainy nights, since you can see the reflections of a lot of like colorful LED lights through those puddles in the nighttime. As you're seeing in the gameplay, what I did is I took a random car from the street, I went into Los Santos Customs with it, put a full chrome paint job on the car, and then since it was nighttime I was looking for some good lighting. I drove inside to some good lighting and then tested out the reflection of my character on that reflective chrome paint job, and if you try that yourself without the graphics mode that gives you ray tracing, you're gonna see that your character looks a lot more pixelated and blurry, and it just doesn't look nearly as clear as it does with this nice graphics mode with ray tracing on. Up until now, typically you'd see your character just pixelated and blurry, but as you can tell, it looks a lot nicer and a lot more realistic on this chrome reflective paint job now with ray tracing in the game. With reflective paint jobs like these, it looks particularly nice also in just broad daylight, and if you're driving in the city through a bunch of tall skyscrapers, they're probably gonna reflect off very realistically as well, and also with palm trees and stuff like that. Before I show you the second cool example of ray tracing, I'll actually show you how you can add it into your game if it wasn't already turned on for you. So you need your game to be set to a specific graphics mode. If you're on the last generation consoles on the Xbox One or PS4, unfortunately you don't have these graphics modes, so you can't actually do it. That's why the newer gen and stronger consoles can actually handle these. That's why there's different graphics modes that you can mess with. So what you want to do, go into the settings tab, go into display, and then in display you should see the graphics mode at the very top. You want to switch it to the fidelity mode, and that's going to give you the absolute best graphics. You can easily compare the difference between the two if you set it to, let's say, performance. If you're in need of these services, check out damods.com in the description. They offer some of the fastest and safest cache and rank services, plus modded accounts as well for both the last gen and the next gen version of the game, and they have lots of trusted reviews by their customers. You'll see the graphics are just not that great, and then things like puddles in the rain just look a lot less realistic and just much lower detail, and then when you go back into fidelity mode, you're gonna see it's a lot better. The realistic reflection is there and it's a lot more detailed. The only thing that really sucks with it is that it has to be in 30 FPS, because fidelity mode has to be on 30 FPS. It's locked on 30 FPS. I actually usually play on performance mode, which is higher frames per second, but then the graphics aren't as good. And so because I'm usually on performance, I switched to fidelity for the first time in a while to check out the new ray tracing effect. The frames were just killing me. The performance graphics mode is locked on 60 FPS, and the difference between 30 and 60 FPS is actually huge. After playing on 60 FPS for so long without switching it at all whatsoever, going back to fidelity mode on 30 FPS was actually so weird. It just felt kind of choppy compared to the smooth 60 FPS that I got used to, and so it's kind of a sacrifice you have to do between good graphics and a lot of frames per second. Sadly, with these graphics modes, we have to choose between smooth frames per second and then the best and most realistic graphics possible. It's a trade-off we have to do. As you can see with the puddles in the rain, it is such a big difference, and all the different lights reflecting off the puddles just make the game look so freaking realistic. And I don't know how well you can tell off of just watching the video, so I recommend you go and try this yourself if you're on next gen. If you're on last gen, I guess you just have to see this, and unfortunately I can't render my videos in 4K quality, so the video doesn't do it enough justice, and you should definitely check it out in game. This is one of the coolest features that came out with the Drug Wars update, hands down. Now click the video on screen now if you want to check out the big spending spree I did. I hope you all enjoy that video, and peace.